Hey guys, welcome. My name is Niki Maria, and today I'm going to show you how to do a technique called Kirtan, or Yoga Kirtan. Some people even call it yoga chanting. I wrote some notes, so I'm just going to read through these with you about what exactly Yoga Kirtan is. So Kirtan is an old sacred sound tradition around the world, and it was derived in India. Kirtan involves, basically the word is satang, or satsang, a Sanskrit term meaning where people gather together as a community to remember to turn inward to help each other find our own inner path. And I think one of the things that resonated with me about Kirtan is that when I was in Bali, Indonesia, back in October of this year, I got the amazing opportunity to work with a lot of instructors that really believe in the power of yoga kirtan, and they do a lot of yoga nada or nada yoga as well, which is very similar. And I can absolutely attest to the fact that the chanting is really like, it's a form of a spiritual self-expression. Like it truly is, because it allows you to basically express how you are feeling in the moment that you're chanting. It allows you to wholeheartedly, what's the word? It allows you to wholeheartedly embrace the chanting technique and become really immersed in what you're doing in that moment, and it just illuminates what needs to be brought to the surface. So it could be anything. Kirtan involves a mantra. So what it does is it uses a mantra, or nada yoga. In some countries, nada yoga is different. Like in Bali, nada yoga is a completely different practice than Kirtan yoga. But basically, this is a science and an art of basically using vibratory frequency and sound currents to help a person experience mental calmness and a sense of unity with all creation and the consciousness, like the collective consciousness of the world. So it uses the primal sounds. So when you're chanting, and like, let's say you do a chant and you're just doing like an so you're sitting there and you're going that sound is called a primal sound. And what it's doing is it's connecting the two hemispheres of your brain, and then it's allowing for a vibration between the middle, which opens up this kind of like this subconscious opening to allow you to filter in good information or bad information. So the way that this works is it uses primal sounds to connect the cells of the body to the subtle qualities of the brain and the mind. So nada yoga, which I did a lot in Bali as well because it was a totally different practice there, is when you repeat mantras mentally, using in some cases, in my case especially, that we use what's called a jimbala. And the jimbala is a set of 108 beads. And you use these beads so that you can pass the negative energy attached to a certain feeling into the beads without causing any friction inside of yourself. So it's kind of like you're imagining yourself putting the negative energy right into these beads. And you're repeating, but the thing with nada yoga is that you're keeping your spine straight, so you're sitting up as straight as possible, and you're basically sitting in that same position, which is the meditative position, and I'm closing my eyes right now to show you. And then you're going into a full which is the middle finger touching the thumb, and you're putting your bead in between, and you're forwarding the energy, the negative energy attached to whatever feeling you have, into the jimbala. So I have a different idea of what nada yoga is. Some of you have a different idea as well, and that's totally understandable because I know we all kind of learn it differently. But what I want to do today is called Kirtan, which is the practice of chanting to one of the Hindu goddess or gods and goddesses. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to use a mantra. And the mantra, basically what mantra means is mon, or the root of the word mon, is to think, and tra is the instrument to liberate us from bondage. So when you put it together, it means an instrument of thought that frees us from the constraints of our own mind, and that is what Kirtan is designed to do. So today I want to get into a chant called Sitaram. And Sitaram is one of the easier chants in my opinion, but also one of the most powerful. Because I did chant to Ganesha, and I did chant to several other people, like several other Hindu god and goddesses. But I felt a very deep connection and a very deep healing power that came from the Sitaram chant. And so I really do think that it resonated with me over the year, you know, or over the time that since I've been back from being in Bali. And so I did do the Baba Hanuman, and I did do Ma Durga and Gavita Hare. I mean, there's so many great ones in here, and I have a playlist also on Spotify, which I will also share, and it will be in the links attached to this video, which is called Meditative Chants. And these are all the chants that I received when I was in Bali, and the ones that I've personally done, and they're really good. And don't worry about knowing the words, because the thing is once you start listening to it and you start hearing yourself, it does become quite easy to pick up the lyrics. So basically, we're going to be chanting to Sitaram, which is about a 6 or so minute chant to Sitaram. Sitaram refers to the Hindu goddess Sita and her husband Rama, or Ram. And Hindus believe that it's good luck to invoke the divine names in verbal or written, in a verbal or written greeting. So when you evoke the name of Sita or Ram or Rama, you are giving yourself good luck, and it's what the Hindus believe. Sita is the main female character in the Hindu epic poem Ramayana. Some of you may or may not have heard of that. There are 2 epic poems that came out of the Hindu culture from the ancient times, and those were Ramayana and Mahabharata. When I was in college, I wrote 2 papers, one on Ramayana and one on Mahabharata, and they were, I think the Hindu theology history was one of my favorite subjects in school, because it really resonated with me. Like I really felt very connected to it. It just brought a source of really good energy to my life. So with that being said, if you have not ever heard of Ramayana, I highly suggest you read it. But what the Hindus believe is that Sita is the incarnation of Lakshmi, which is the goddess of abundance, while Rama is the central male character and the incarnation of Vishnu, who is the Lord of the universe. And so those were the 2 characters that these 2 very divine people represent, or these divine god and goddess represent. So Rama symbolizes the Manipura chakra, which is the solar plexus, and that's right here in this part of your body. And Sita is the primal energy, or the root chakra, and she is, what they call it is the, let me see if I can say this right, the Muladhara root chakra. So basically when you are chanting to Sita and Ram, you're sensing a purification in your body and spirit, but you're also being grounded, and your mind is finding calm and peace, and it's just a very good feeling. So during the reciting of Sitaram, both sides of the brain are balancing also, which I think happens with most of them, but one of the things that's unique about the Sitaram chant, is that they do actually align both hemispheres of the brain, because it is the essence of feminine energy and the essence of masculine energy kind of meeting in the middle. So it's very neat how they laid that out. The mantra is in Sanskrit, and it vitalizes and harmonizes the whole physical body. It removes blockages, it cleanses toxins and impurities from the body, it activates your self-awareness, shedding light on things that maybe were dark to you in the past, like recesses of your mind, body, spirit, trinity, that you maybe just didn't realize were there. And also, you will notice pretty quickly that you will feel like an electric charge after we finish chanting. I wanted to bring into focus Hanuman, because he was another character in the story Ramayana. And what his character was, is he was half monkey and half human. And he was also a selflessly devoted assistant to Rama. He is known as what they call the wind's child, or the child of wind, because his father, or his parental figure. I'm not sure if it was the father or mother. I actually never researched into that. But he is the offspring of the god or goddess of wind. So Hanuman declared, and this was a big thing for me, and the reason why I love the Sitaram chant the best out of all of them, because Hanuman declared Rama as a supreme being. That was his unique part in the story. He also said that by simply saying his name, all earthly problems may be dissolved. It's interesting because right now in the world that we're in, it's been increasingly stressful every day. I am a mother of a child with ASD, autism spectrum disorder, and it has been extremely difficult for me to wrap my brain around the idea of now my child not being able to go back to school and have a normal routine. I mean, I understand it, but it still becomes a lot to consume when your child is an overwhelming person. And so I've had a lot of moments of just like pure breakdowns. I'm sure I'm not alone in that, but it has been really, really, really hard. And I also work a full-time job, and I am a single mom. So there's been a lot of pressure on me because I fear losing my job, and I fear that my kids are not going to get enough education because I am definitely not a teacher. And today was a pure example of that. But one of the things that I think chanting or, you know, doing the Kirtan helps with is just kind of finding that alignment inside of yourself to just calm the very stressful, you know, very anxious thoughts inside of yourself. And so I really do think that this is going to help anybody out there that's really under a lot of pressure and feeling a lot of stress. Also, Hanuman went on to say that reciting Rama's name 10 million times, one can achieve what's called moksha. And moksha means complete liberation. So that was why I wanted to bring up Hanuman and his comments about Rama and Ram, or Ram. And also, I want to get into, very briefly before we get going, I want to get into the actual chant itself, what it sounds like, and what it represents. So we're going to be chanting Sitaram, Jai Jaya Ram. And so that is Sanskrit, and it represents Sita is again the incarnation of Lakshmi, who is the goddess of abundance from Ramayana. And then you have Rama is the incarnation of Vishnu, the Lord of the universe in Ramayana. And then Jaya is the victory to or celebration of. So what the whole thing means is victory to the glorious Lord Rama and the radiant goddess Sita. And so again, we're going to start our, the Kirtan, and what we're going to be chanting is very simple. It's going to be Sitaram, Jai Jaya Ram. You can follow along. You can take some time to make sure that you understand what is being said. Feel free to let this kind of flow however you feel. Again, this was something I learned when I was in Bali. We did do this quite often. So one of the things that my instructor used to say was, when you are finished, it is always good to have a book, like a journal near you. So I always have my journal near me, because after this is over, you might have some thoughts or some concerns that came up, or perhaps you had an experience when doing your chant. Because this chant, when you're closing your eyes, because the reason we close our eyes during the chant is to focus on ourselves and on the inside, because we're looking for our inner path. And by chanting together, we're helping each other to find our inner path. It's kind of like when you're walking down a hallway and your friends are with you and everyone's trying to find the door that they're supposed to go into. And if your friend finds your door first before they find their own, they're going to say, hey, over here, here's your door. So that's what kind of is going on in the Kirtan while we're chanting. If you happen to stumble across somebody else's door first, you may not realize it, but you're subconsciously directing them in the path of their inner path. And so you may experience some flashes of that, and that's where your journal can be very, very, very helpful on this. For me, I wrote quite a bit when I was in Bali about all of my intentions, and I even drew. If I saw something, I mean obviously I'm no artist, but if I saw something, I would draw what I saw inside of my mind, even if it wasn't to perfect perfection. But you know, we would talk about different things, and so during any kind of situation, what you're trying to do is you're basically trying to quell the fire inside of yourself and just kind of figure out what inside of you needs sorting. So it is completely normal to feel something. Like I can tell you, like on October 16th when we did the Kirtan, I did have a word that popped up in my head the entire time I was chanting, and it was the word grief. Normally when I do the chants, my mind clears and I feel and experience nothing. I just go into a full-blown calm. But this one day I had this word that popped into my head, and I wrote this. I wrote grief. This is a bad word for me. I want to run when the idea of grief is introduced. Of all the human emotions, I most despise grief. Grief is loss, grief is fear, grief is big change and growth after shedding some seriously painful times and experiences. I know I lost touch with what the difference is between pain and pleasure, so there are times that I forget my grief is scattered throughout my past. I forget to trust that I have survived worse, and I hope to be supported by myself to always remember that. I can do this. The world needs me. I am a warrior, and nothing scares the warrior enough to give up. Fight is what I will do always. So when that word came across for me, rather than looking at it and overanalyzing it, I became objective to it. And I sat back and I wrote something about what I was experiencing from that. I just highly recommend that if you're going to do any form of yoga or anything, the whole entire point, if you know, if you're in Bali, for example, and I was at the BeKind retreats in Bali, one of the things I will say is that they constantly point out that whether you're just doing stretching yoga, or you're doing yoga nidra, or you're doing Reiki, or any kind of spiritual practice, it's always good to document if you have anything that needs to be said or confronted, and then don't look at it again until you need to. It's like I'm writing this down because I just want to get it out of my mind so that I can dump it and leave. But later on, when you are ready to face those demons or those moments, it's good to see what you went through. Because I did write down my 4 major thinking patterns too. I wrote down the 4 major thinking patterns that I find myself in on a regular basis so that I could really understand where my brain goes. So like I said, it's good to have a journal, so I highly recommend that if you could go get yourself a journal or a piece of paper or something that you could write down, that would be really helpful. Furthermore, whenever we would start doing any form of kirtan, we would always write down our intentions, and we would pull a card from the Truth Bomb cards, which are by, I believe her name is Danielle Laporte. So I'm going to pull a Truth Bomb for us, and that's going to be for everyone watching. So the Truth Bomb cards are basically, I have the app on my phone now called Truth Bombs. And so I'm going to hit this little button right here to shuffle and give us a truth bomb for today. Okay, so this is what it says. Our truth bomb is, let the miracle take you over. I love these cards. They were really helpful, especially when you're getting ready to do kirtan. It's very helpful to have something like this because it just reminds you that you are important and that this is something that you are going to experience, but it's a good thing. And so I love her cards. I really love her cards. So what I typically do is I immediately take my piece of paper and I write down the date. So I'm going to write down today's date, which is March 30th. And I'm going to write down the card so I can remember what it is. And it says, let the miracle take you over. So let's write that down. Take you over. And now I want you to write down your intentions for yourself for tomorrow. Don't go worrying about whether this is a good, whether it's something really, really good or whatever it is. Just write down, and then you're going to keep it to yourself. This is your intention. So I'm going to write down my intention for tomorrow. My intention for tomorrow . Okay. So I'm going to read mine out loud, and you, by all means, keep yours to yourself. But this is for me, and you're welcome to share in the comments if you would like to share your intentions. But my intention for tomorrow is to remember to use patience when dealing with my children, because this has been a very trying time for me, as I am the type of mother that does well with some form of routine, and I'm having a tough time. So I want to set my intentions today that tomorrow I'm going to really focus on being a little more patient with my little boys, because this has been not easy. And so in that, I'm also honoring what my truth bomb says, to let the miracle take you over. And so now that we've talked about what Kirtan is and what we'll be doing today and what the Sitaram chant is going to bring to light for you, we're going to get into doing the actual chant. And I really want you to, after the chant is over, to just take the time to feel the energy and the vibrations, and take a couple of deep breaths and just feel the relaxation come over you. And then if you had anything that came up during your chant, anything that popped into your mind that just stayed with you throughout the whole chant, I would like you to take your journal and write it down. Anything at all. If you didn't experience anything, just still take your journal out and write, I did the Sitaram chant and I felt da 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 da. I just really want you to document this experience, because it does help you. And I think anytime you do any form of yoga nidra, any kind of kirtan, chanting, anything, just make it, it's a best practice to really keep track of what you're, experiencing during that episode of your life. So it really does help to document the progress as you move forward in your life and become more positive and more amazing. And growing up is a human experience that we all have, so it really does kind of help to look back at those times and say, wow, I grew so much since then. So without any further ado, I'm going to put on the Sitaram chant. And again, I will be sharing this, but this is the playlist. It's called Meditative Chants. Okay guys, I already gave you the lyrics, but I'm going to give them to you one more time. It is Sitaram, Jai Jaya Ram. So without further ado, I'd like you to please close your eyes. Some of you may be interested in putting your hands in the which is your thumb to your pointer finger or your thumb to your middle finger. Typically and most universally, it's the middle finger. You can go into the prayer pose, which is putting your two hands in front of you in the Namaste. You can go into the just putting your hands up and kind of like facing them towards the sky. You can just put them down on your knees. You can just kind of hang them wherever. You can just kind of fold them into your lap. Whatever you feel comfortable with, that's what I want you to do right now. So, like I said, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a deep breath and we're going to close our eyes. So when you take your deep breath, I want you to breathe into your belly. So you should feel yourself getting kind of like a fat belly, and then let it out. Feel your shoulders falling and your body going into a full peaceful place. You are allowed to move. This is not Nada yoga. This is Kirtan. So during the time that you're listening to the music, feel free to move your body, do whatever feels right. And let's get going. Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram.
Jai Sitarama.
Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram.
Jai Ramana.
Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram.
Full power Hare Ram, Jai Sitaram, Jai Bhagwan, Jai Babaji ki Jai Om. Arunachala Shiva Om.
I would like you guys to just take a moment and feel the energy within yourself. That calm, that electric feeling in your fingers. The breath of fresh air and the feeling of all the toxins and impurities just being removed. And just take that moment to find your center and to hear and comprehend what was given to you during the chant. It could have been clarity, could have been something to do with your life and your values. It could be about your family. It could be about just anything, whatever went through your mind. And I want you to just think about that for a moment, why that came to you. Let's take a couple of deep breaths and then we will open our eyes and we'll begin to say our goodbyes and to write our journal entries. Take a deep breath in through the nose, filling your belly. Out through the mouth. Let it in again. In again, and sigh it out. And open your eyes when you're ready. Thank you all so much for taking the time to do Yoga Kirtan with me today. This was amazing, and like I said, I would like for you to take whatever was revealed to you and write it in your journals and just experience that vibration for as long as you can. Thank you again. Have a wonderful evening, and I hope that you all stay healthy and safe. Bye.